Welcome back to another edition of Our City. A few things going around the city of Elizabeth this week. On Wednesday, June 20th at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to attend a health opening and ribbon cutting of the Elizabeth Health Center located at 1171 Elizabeth Avenue. Later that afternoon, around noon, the senior prom will be held. It is hosted by the city's Office on Aging. This event is held at the O'Donnell Dempsey Center located at 618 Salem Avenue. Our seniors show off their finery at a prom showcase. It's a great event. And on Saturday, June 23rd at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to join 3rd Ward Councilman Kevin Canary and community members of the 3rd Ward Play Street celebration. This is a family-friendly event. It's held at the Fernwood Terrace between Highland and Vista Avenue. It's recommended for ages 6 through 14. It's going to include a morning game of raffles, giveaways, games, much more. We sponsor it in the city of Elizabeth along with the councilman. It's worked extremely well. Shaping Elizabeth is also there. For more information, you can call 908-820-4051. We've had them in the 1st Ward and the 2nd Ward so far, and we really get these things going throughout the city of Elizabeth, where all the young people come out and play in the street for a morning on supervised fun with the Recreation Department and the Health Department and Shaping Elizabeth. If you need more information concerning these events or any other events, please call our Public Information Office at 908-820-4124. Please stay with us after these messages, where I'm going to be joined by Ms. Yasmin Fisher and Mr. Gordon Haas of the Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce.
Sometimes you learn by helping others learn. Kane University.
Welcome back to Our City, where I'm pleased to be joined by Mr. Gordon Haas, the Executive Director of the Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce. Gordon, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for having us.
And Ms. Yasmin Fisher, who is the Business Development Director. Yasmin, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Mayor.
So who wants to go first? Gordon, maybe you go. You want Yasmin to go first? Okay.
Depends on which question you answer.
Yes,
well,
absolutely.
The first question is kind of like, tell me a little bit about yourself. And Gordon, you've been on.
I've been on
Yasmin.
the show.
You want to go with Yasmin?
Absolutely.
How many times have you been on?
This is my 2nd time.
Only your 2nd time?
Yeah.
You've been here for a lifetime already.
Seems that way, doesn't it?
Right, Yasmin? Yeah.
Seems like only yesterday you and I were just having a conversation.
That's right. You took the boat over from England and you're here.
Here I am.
So Yasmin,
in living color.
Tell me about yourself.
Okay. So I was a sales and I guess marketing executive with a large company when I happened to fall into the the fold of the Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce. Actually, Gordon was introduced to me by someone that was working for him at the time, Fran Sullivan. And almost 5 years later, here I am. When I first came on board, I was the Membership and Events Director, and we saw a larger role in terms of the opportunities that were available, and we began to look at it in a business light and said that, what we need is a business development director. Right. Gordon said, you know what, that's a great idea, and here I am. And you may ask, what do I do? Essentially, to elevate the chamber to a level where people see it as not only a resource, but a place of opportunity for them, where they can come in, find what they need, and help them to go out and build their business. If not build, then take it to the next level. So in doing that, we've really looked at a variety of different things. We've gone out and partnered with other businesses. We have looked at City Hall, Mayor, and you have been continue to be a resource to us and for us. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we talk about the magazine that we're doing with the City of Elizabeth, where you've been instrumental in giving us the support we need to put that on a solid foundation.
The mayor has given us the support since 1997 when we started the chamber.
I was just going to say, Gordon, you've been on the show quite a few times.
But
mostly to do with chamber, maybe some planning board. You're the chairman of the planning board as well.
Correct.
But Gordon, tell us about the Greater Elizabeth Chamber and since 97.
1997.
How you've grown too. You started off with a handful of members.
Right. We started off with no members. When we first announced that we were going to do this, we had a breakfast at IKEA. I think it was Christmas Eve in 1996 with a group of people.
Christmas Eve?
The morning of Christmas Eve.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we had 35 people attend, 35 businesses attend, and they agreed that we in Elizabeth needed our own Chamber of Commerce. We had the support of the city. We began in January of 1997, and we're very proud to say today we are ranked by NJ Biz as the 11th largest chamber in the state of New Jersey.
How many chambers are there in?
There are a lot more than I ever expected. You know, every town could have a chamber of commerce. I believe that there are a total of 500 chambers in New Jersey.
Right.
And we're the 11th largest.
Yeah, and chambers are not all equal. I mean, some of them are merely an association of businesses, but there's no real activity. They come together for on a as need basis.
Most chambers, most smaller chambers are run by the members themselves. So obviously, if you're running a business, you don't really have time to run a chamber.
Absolutely.
And in our case, we're full time at the chamber, and our job is to run the chamber. And also, in my case, the Elizabeth Destination Marketing Organization, which spun out of the chamber.
So 21 years.
It'll be 23 in January.
23 years.
Yeah, 23
Well, it
years.
started in 1997.
But we're in our 22nd year now.
22nd.
We count birthdays. You know,
Right.
Is that a Jewish thing, Gordon?
No, your first birthday is after the first year of life. So
Because I'm counting 97 to 18 is 21, and you're
do it.
going 23.
Right.
So I thought it was a Jewish calendar you're working in there. on me.
No, the Jewish calendar would have been a different.
5,000. What are you? You up to 6,000 yet or something?
Not
We're
quite
going
yet.
into our
Not quite yet.
22nd year, I believe.
So, but Gordon, your leadership in the Chamber of Commerce has really helped this chamber grow. I mean, you've brought in a lot of businesses. We didn't have anything, and
And Yasmin has continued.
and how many do you have now? I mean,
We're almost,
Almost 500.
500
businesses are part of the Greater
Absolutely.
Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely.
Correct.
That's phenomenal. I mean, I remember when we were struggling at 40 and 50.
Yeah.
And here we are at 500 businesses in the chamber.
Listen, we've developed a reputation of doing the right thing for business. Yasmin has added some very good features. When a new member joins us, we sit with that member and we learn about their business, and then we offer ideas that might help their business. We introduce them to other members that could benefit their business, and that has made an enormous impact on members. And they realize that it's just not sending dues in and we'll see you next year. We're there to help them. Our business after hours, which we do 9 times a year, are free events, which many other chambers charge for. And we draw a very nice crowd, including the mayor, comes to visit us at times.
I'll be there. I was there. Yeah,
La Vecindad Bar and Grill, which is
go to them all.
the old
Except when you go
clock
way
tower.
out to Newark. You went to the DoubleTree once. I didn't get out there.
They did a nice job out there.
I know. I'm sure they did, but I just had another event that
No, I know.
last month.
You're a busy guy.
Yeah, I know. So the Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce, Gordon, you tell a much cleaner version than I do about how it started. So,
I was Joe Keenan, who was former director of the library and councilman of the 3rd Ward. Joe, at that time, was just director of the library. He and I belonged to the Union County Chamber of Commerce. And the Union County Chamber of Commerce basically had a meeting every month. The same 10 people showed up at that meeting, and there was really nothing that we were gaining from it. So one day after one of the meetings, we said, gee, I wonder what it would take to start our own chamber. And that's basically where we did it. And we've made an impact in that respect. I mean, we are officially a city chamber, Greater Elizabeth, but we are recognized by a lot of the regionals, and by being number 11, we're the only city chamber in that top 15 that isn't a regional, either a county or you know, the Hispanic chamber is the largest, the state chamber is the second largest.
And the counties, some county chambers are larger than us. But to Gordon's point, we really focus
I knew you'd do a better job of telling that story.
Your story has a little more edge to it.
Well, we want to be aired. We want people to know about us. We want people to see us.
Well, this is cable.
Well, still, people are still watching.
So Yasmin, your role in business development, do you go knocking on doors, or you wait for them to call you? Because I see at all the ribbon cuttings we go to.
Mayor, I want to be
what do you do?
I want to be like you.
Oh.
You know what? We need to represent the chamber. even though we're based in Elizabeth, we need to be representative of every facet of business in Elizabeth. So if it's a ribbon cutting at a retail store, I'm there. If it's a social organization, if it's the food pantry, the Jewish Family Services, they're having some special recognition or unveil, whatever it is, I'm there. Because the chamber, as chamber members, we need to be representative of the members. So you do see me. I think last Thursday we were at Amber Court. They were having an open house.
Yeah, they used to have that on the roof.
No, that's still coming. That's the wine and cheese, which they're going to have in August. That's still coming.
That's coming.
That's
they're
coming.
Wait till it's too
we're
hot.
not missing out on the wine.
We'll bring
and
Gordon
cheese.
that one because they bring kosher wines.
Yeah,
I
that's
unfortunately was out of town that
I know.
day.
Right, but yes.
So the importance of having a chamber of commerce in a city, we're the fourth largest city.
That's
So
correct.
are we the only? We're the only city in the top 15 that has a chamber.
That's correct.
That's this high, right?
That's
Right.
correct.
Okay.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
It's a lot of work that goes into it. You asked how she finds leads.
I was
the
going
leads
to address that, yes.
The leads come from board members,
Yes.
which are probably the easiest leads for her to follow
Right.
up. But they come from members.
Absolutely.
Members realize what they got
And tell their friends.
and tell their friends and the people they do business with. This is an organization you should belong to.
So I go to these after hours events, and you do the business cards, and you
Right.
ask the business, which I find clever, to speak about their business.
Absolutely,
And then
because
therefore there might be somebody in there who can
needs
use
it.
them, right?
Absolutely.
And it
absolutely.
happens.
that
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
it happens.
And one of the things speaking to that is that anyone who's a new member who attends our business after hours always gets the opportunity to speak. Why? Because it immediately puts them on center stage. They're in front of 70, 80 people who they don't know, and now they know them.
Right.
It's a great opportunity for networking.
That's part of the problem. People don't like to network. Our members, there are times that I'll find a group of bankers sitting in the corner having beer, and I basically say to them, why are you all together?
Yes.
You could stay in the office and be together.
Absolutely.
Get up and get around. There's
Absolutely.
business for you.
Yeah.
And they come back and say, thank you for chasing us. People
Right.
are
You're
afraid.
picking on the bankers, Gordon.
No, I'm
Yeah,
picking
only
on,
kidding.
it could be lawyers too.
One of the other thing about the networking after hours is that some people will call and say, will so-and-so be there because I need to connect
Right,
with them.
exactly.
So we can personally connect them at that time.
So you would make a phone call to that other person and say, hey, are you showing up tonight because so-and-so's looking to talk to you about some business?
We don't really tell them that someone's looking for them.
Right.
We just confirm. That's one thing that we do that I'm sure that not many chambers do. Not only do we send out emails, we physically, actively call. We pick up the phone and remind them that they've made reservations and we're expecting them.
Right.
And because of that, it puts an added onus on them to show up.
Every
Yeah,
every
and they do,
business
and they
after
do.
hours has several emails that go out to the
Right.
people who've made reservations,
Right.
including one the morning of the event, reminding
Right.
that the event is tonight at 5. I hope
Yes.
we see you there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we don't tip anybody off that somebody's
Well,
looking for
right.
them because
We
that's the
just
fastest way to get that person not to come.
Oh, yeah, I
So-
forgot about it. That's
yeah.
right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
we tell them, we just make sure that they've made a reservation and we hope to see you. And most importantly, we tell them that there are going to be people there that will be good for you and your business.
Right.
End of story.
And then we'll make an introduction.
Right.
Yeah, but
Right.
what amazes me is you have it every month.
Right.
Right.
And we do
Yes.
we do it 9 times.
10, actually, we
10
added
times.
June.
We added
Add
June
June,
now.
yeah.
10 times a year, but we have other events like the Mayor's State of the City speech in January, our dinner cruise, the legislative breakfast, which is coming up.
the end of June.
And we're very happy to hear that you will be there at the legislative.
Because I'm away. I was away earlier. at
Right, for the
conference.
Conference of Mayors. But we're looking forward to it. And we've done very well with that event. We partner with the Union Township Chamber, our next door
Excellent
neighbors.
organization
and
to work
we have a very nice turnout of 150 people every year.
Yes.
And we're also very pleased by the number of legislators and
Yeah, but
politicians that
even
come.
the after hours, you're never get less than 30 or 40 people.
Oh,
there.
no.
Oh no, that's
no.
that's
Those
a
are
low
that's
number.
the old days.
I know, it's remarkable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we-
get anywhere between 70 and 80 people.
Now, who and the venue hosts the event?
Absolutely. And these are all members.
They're all members.
They're all members. And one of the key reasons why we do that is to give added value to our members who have these hospitality locations.
Right. It's a great marketing tool for them.
Absolutely. And some of our members don't even know that these places exist. Right. So we bring people in, so it's exposure for the business, and it's a great opportunity for our members to see the kinds of places that
So they want to come back for lunch or dinner?
Absolutely.
Invariably,
really
there'll be a
well.
group of people that'll stay afterwards in a restaurant and have dinner that night.
Absolutely.
We pick Wednesday nights for a very simple reason that historically Wednesday night is probably the quietest night in a restaurant. So the restaurants are looking for business. They're more than happy to put the food out. They have a cash bar. They're making some money, and they vie for a spot. We'll put out a list in November saying these are the dates we picked for next year. Who wants one? And usually by 2 to 3 weeks later, they're all booked.
So we're going to take a break, run a couple of commercials, and then come back and talk about the new Profile magazine.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Please stay with us after these messages. I'll be back with Gordon Haas and Yasmin Fisher talking about the Elizabeth Profile magazine.
We're an American original, dependable, historic, nuanced, with all the comforts of home, even when you're just visiting. So we're celebrating for all that we've left untouched and all that we've changed. A place where the past meets the future. So consider this your invitation.
We've been celebrating here in Elizabeth for 350 years, and we're just getting started. Welcome back to our city, where I'm joined by Mr. Gordon Haas and Miss Yasmin Fisher of the Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce. And one of the things we talked about just as we went to break was the new Elizabeth Community Profile magazine.
Awesome.
Tell us about it, Yasmin, or Gordon. How do you want to jump in here? Yasmin, you want to start?
I think I will, if that's
Absolutely.
okay with you, Gordon.
Absolutely.
All right. So it's been 2 years since the Chamber had a magazine. The last publication was called Elizabeth Now, which was wonderful. The new Chamber magazine is called the, I believe, Community
And Business
Resource Guide. And the reason why we changed the name was because we wanted to give our audience, our readers, an overview of what the magazine contained. And essentially, we focus on all the things that make Elizabeth and the surrounding area a great place to work and live and play. And Mayor, you've been instrumental in that. So you're even featured in that.
I hope so.
Oh, you absolutely are. I mean, we
Otherwise, I'll be yelling at my public information staff.
absolutely,
What happened to me?
absolutely. We have communities like Trinitas, who, as you know, is the premier medical center in our location, and who's also a bulwark of community
support.
Support.
They're in the community helping people.
Absolutely, absolutely. We also have the mall, Jersey Gardens, the Mills.
The Mills
The
at
Mills.
Jersey
That place has had so many name changes.
Yeah.
But the Mills at Jersey Gardens, which is one of the showcase venues in Elizabeth. What is it? 80 million people.
18 million people visited that mall
More
in
than
the
the
last
Statue
year.
of Liberty.
Yeah.
So we put all those showcase locations in there. But also important are the representation of chamber members in that, because we really want them to feel that it's their magazine, that they're contributors. One of the pieces that we're very proud of is that we also feature our social services organizations. Now, May, you know that Elizabeth has some of the most I guess, premier and diverse social organizations. We have places like the Jewish Family Services, which we mentioned, I believe Josephine's Place, which takes care of women who are in need.
Covenant House
is in there. And just a variety of all the wonderful social services, because we want our readers to understand that the Chamber is not just for businesses.
So this magazine sounds a little different than the last one.
Yes.
Yes,
Very
it is,
different than the last one.
absolutely. Do you want to take
Going
that?
back to where we were, tried tried and true before we switched to the Elizabeth Now format. Didn't quite work the way expected to.
Right.
So this is going back to the way when we used to do the Elizabeth magazine, the Chamber magazine.
Right.
It features the city and
Yes.
sort of tells the story about our history, and we'll be getting 10,000 copies of this magazine. It'll be distributed in the hotels. It'll be distributed at the mall in the Elizabeth Destination Marketing Organization's lounge. It'll be distributed.
City Hall will
City Hall will get
have
many copies.
please.
I know the mayor sends it out to people when they come to move here or they have request information about the city. So we and then of course hopefully there'll be enough copies to take down to Atlantic City to the league. And we're hoping to be able to do it on a 2-year basis. It's a difficult situation in the sense that printed publications are not as popular as they were. The internet is taking over a lot of that, but there will be an electronic version of this magazine
Right.
as well.
Right.
So that covers both sides. People still like to hold
So we
things
can
in
email
there.
it or it can be downloaded.
Absolutely,
or
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, it'll be on our website.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, the printer, to just give
Just
some...
the first magazine, by the way, that's going to be in digital form?
No,
No, we've done it in the
Elizabeth Now
past,
was
but
there, yes.
yeah, well,
yes.
and the previous
Just
magazines had
magazines,
too.
yeah.
But this one will be tied into a lot more social platforms, social media platforms than the previous ones were.
Right. I just want to talk a little bit about the printer the publisher that we've been
Right.
using. It's Novo Print, and I believe they're based in
Somewhere's in Illinois.
or Milwaukee. But they have been doing this for quite some time, so they're quite the expert and they're quite successful. When they came in, they told us exactly what the timeline would be, and true to form, we are right on target. So we hope to have the publication, the Chamber magazine, ready by the end of June, very beginning of July. And it really is a testament to their professionalism
Right.
and to the way they work that we are going to have delivery of the product exactly in the time frame when they promised it.
Who does that today?
That's why I brought this up, Mayor. It's amazing, isn't
Dinner
it?
cruise. You mentioned the dinner cruise earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been on all of them, I think. And
I think you have.
have.
yeah, the dinner cruise is interesting because you always sell it out.
Always.
There's always.
So
not
I'm
an
going to
empty
put a
seat down.
plug in now.
You having
May.
one this year?
Absolutely. And
absolutely.
it's September 5th. It's the first Wednesday after Labor Day. And if you haven't made your RSVP, I suggest that you do it because we're filling up very quickly.
We already have about 120 reservations.
Absolutely.
People,
Yes.
people, when they make their sponsorships, make their reservations. We actually have one person who took 30 seats.
30 seats?
30 seats.
Absolutely. He comes every year. He's awesome.
And every year he gets more seats. He
I should give him a
invites his
plug.
employees.
Please.
Yeah, you can give him a plug.
S&L contractors, they're absolutely amazing. I think the president's name is Frank Liberato, and he's a staunch supporter of our
the
dinner
chamber.
cruise. And he says, hold on, I've got more
This guy's got to get an award then.
Oh, absolutely.
Not this year. We already picked
we're
our
looking
awardees
right,
for
but
this year.
for
But
next
next year,
absolutely. Frank, hold us to that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's great.
so who are our awardees this year?
Our awardees are Trinitas with Medical Center, and they're getting the President's Award.
Correct.
We have TD Bank. Is it TD Bank?
No,
it's
Northfield
Northfield Bank.
Bank.
Northfield Bank. I
Sorry,
take that
TD.
back. Sorry, TD. I think you were the year before, a couple of years ago. But Northfield Bank has been instrumental
Covanta.
in helping the Chamber, and Covanta.
Anything new on the cruise this year? No?
You know, the boat is limited.
The boat is the boat.
Right.
The boat is limited in size. We
Right.
do sell it out every year. It's an amazing thing. We've tried different things that some of them work, some of them don't work.
yeah.
But I've had this conversation with my board at times. They say, well, we should do something different. And every year they always say at the end, no, there's nothing like this.
It's a great time.
Yeah.
One thing we want to say about the dinner cruise is that it's a great place to network.
Yeah.
You have
It
a,
is.
You have a captive audience.
I know, because I don't sit down, so I just go from table to table
And
and
you
say hello.
can't, and you
Absolutely.
can't get off.
That's right.
I know, you
that's
can't
right.
get off. Yeah,
Right.
We got to figure out a way to get me a skiff. After I say hello to everybody and get in the skiff and then go back
Just
to
go. No.
base.
I don't think you'd.
We love
I don't
having
think
you
you'd
on
do
board.
well in the skiff.
No,
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
not. So you mentioned the Elizabeth Destination Marketing Organization.
Right.
It's new, but it's working. What is it exactly?
3.5 years old. If you remember,
Compared to the Chamber of 22, this is...
right. If you'll remember, several years ago we did Shop, Play, and Stay at 13A, which was a great promotion for the city, for the mall, for the hotels, and at that time, IKEA and Rexplex, which doesn't exist anymore. But that was a successful thing. But
I remember the slogan. It was very clever.
Right.
Shop, stay, and play at exit
13A.
At 13A, and the state held us out, and they gave us some grant money. And after 3 years, they said, "You've had enough grant money. Become self-sustaining." And it was difficult. And you and I had conversations, and I had conversations with our hotels, and we came up with a way to be self-sustaining. And that started in September. My years, I mix up dates. About 4 years ago. And we began to collect this money that helps us being self-sustaining. And I hired my first 2 employees, my only 2 employees at this point, about 3.5 years ago. And it's been upward and onward ever since. We've won awards. We've been recognized as top 5 shopping city, and we've been recognized. And as the mayor said, you never believed that we would have a bus tour of Elizabeth.
No, I never thought people were going to be touring Elizabeth.
Right,
I have to admit that.
Right, and they now
my
come.
vision.
They now come almost on a regular basis. We have Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines in Bayonne selling excursions to the city of Elizabeth at the end of the cruise. Carnival Cruise Line is now in negotiation with us to do that as well. Avianca Airlines calls Elizabeth a place, your home away from home, for the Latin Americans who come up here on their airlines. We have a great relationship with these folks, and people are touring this city. It's a combination of a lot of things. Our history, our Hamilton history. Unfortunately, Alexander Hamilton, the play, doesn't talk about the first 9 months of his life, and it's just one little allusion
First
to the
9 months of his adult life.
of his life in America.
There you go.
And they started him in New York City, but he lived here for 9 months, and he lived here with some very significant people. Elias Boudinot, he lived here with William Livingston, and he made an impact in this city. And he made a friendship which sort of soured as life went on. He met Aaron Burr here in Elizabeth.
No, he didn't meet there. I don't think they met here. They went to school here, but they went to school at different times.
They were about a year apart.
Yeah, I think they met in the
New York.
Washington administration.
No, they met in
maybe
New
before.
York. They were law partners at one point in time.
Oh, they were.
Yeah, it was an interesting life.
And then one killed the other. So, to wrap up, what's anything new in the chamber coming up?
Well, we're always looking at new things. We're doing some multi-chamber events. We did one which was very successful back in January, right after the luncheon, and we're thinking of doing another one in the fall if we can possibly get the coordination together. And we're doing a lot more partnerships with our members,
and other smaller chambers.
Yeah, and other smaller chambers. Okay. We feel that's a real value and a benefit to our members. So the more collaboration chambers can have with each other, the better off it will be for the members.
You're widening their exposure to other businesses.
Absolutely, absolutely.
The Union Township Chamber that we do the legislative breakfast with, last year we tried something different. We had 5 tables.
Right.
Where we asked our members, each of us asked our members if they wanted a table to exhibit.
And they did.
And it worked very well. This year we have 10 tables.
Good.
So
we still have a few spots open. So if you'd like to RSVP, call us 908.
And what number can you reach at?
908-355-7600.
I want to thank the both of you for taking the time to join us on the show and all of the hard work you're doing for the business community here in our city and our region.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you for your commitment.
Our pleasure.
Thank you, Mayor.
I want to thank Mr. Gordon Haas and Miss Yasmin Fisher for joining me on this evening's show and all of their work for the Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce. I'm Chris Bolwage. We'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.
Offering everything you could want from college, including a life. Kane University.